The hallway was loud, a mix of slamming lockers and teenage chatter, but in the middle of that noise, she froze. It happened so fast. Two boys, smirking, cornered her against the wall. One of them laughed and said, "Hey, what are you hiding under that sweater?" Before she could react, a rough hand reached forward and grabbed her chest. The laughter echoed, but her mind went silent. For a split second, she wasn't in the hallway anymore. She was back in a hospital room, back in a time she had tried so hard to bury. Her name was Lena. To everyone at school, she was the quiet girl who always kept her head down, spoke softly, and wore oversized clothes. People thought she was just shy, but there was more. Much more. Her hidden past. 2 years earlier, Lena had been in a terrible car accident with her mother. She survived, but her chest was badly injured, injuries so severe that doctors had to perform multiple reconstructive surgeries. For months, she couldn't walk without pain, couldn't breathe deeply without wincing. She had scars, long, jagged scars that ran across her chest. The worst part wasn't the pain, it was the way people looked at her when they saw the scars. Some looked away out of pity. Others stared like she was something broken. When Lena returned to school after her recovery, she learned to hide. Big sweaters, long sleeves, and silence became her shield. She thought if she stayed invisible, she could avoid the cruelty of teenage judgment. She thought wrong. The day everything changed. The bullies didn't know about her accident. They didn't care. To them, she was just an easy target. That day, after they grabbed her, she stumbled back, clutching her sweater closed, her face pale. "You freak out too easy," one of them mocked. "Yeah," the other laughed, "bet she's hiding something weird under there." Her hands shook. Every instinct screamed for her to run, but something in her snapped. The months of staying quiet. The whispers. The cruel giggles. The years of fighting through pain just to be treated like she was nothing. She straightened her back and took a deep breath. "You want to know what I'm hiding?" Her voice trembled, but it carried through the hallway. The crowd, sensing drama, began to gather. The truth unveiled. Slowly, she pulled her sweater over her head. Underneath was a simple t-shirt, tight enough that the faint outlines of her surgical scars showed through. The bullies smirked at first, until she spoke. "These," she said, pointing to her scars, "are from the accident that almost killed me. I had to relearn how to breathe without pain. I had to watch my mom cry because she thought I'd never wake up. I've been cut open, stitched back together, and told I wouldn't live a normal life again. And you," she looked them dead in the eye, "think you can break me with your hands and your jokes. You have no idea who you're dealing with." Silence. Some students looked away in shame. Others stared at her with new respect. The bullies shifted uncomfortably, their laughter gone. One muttered, "Whatever," before backing away. The challenge after the confrontation. Standing up in that hallway didn't magically fix everything. She still had to deal with whispers. There were still people who didn't understand. And the bullies, humiliated, tried small jabs for weeks after, testing if she'd shrink back into silence. But she didn't. She joined the self-defense club at school. Not because she wanted to fight, but because she wanted to carry herself with strength. She began speaking to younger students about standing up to harassment. She even started wearing clothes she actually liked instead of clothes that hid her body. One of her biggest challenges was trusting people again. It took months. But eventually, she made friends who valued her for who she was, not what she looked like, and certainly not what she had been through. The message that lasted. A year later, Lena stood in front of the entire school assembly as a guest speaker for Anti-Bullying Week. "I used to think staying quiet kept me safe," she told them. "But silence doesn't protect you, it just gives bullies room to grow. Speak up, tell your truth, and never, ever let someone's cruelty define your worth." When she stepped off the stage, dozens of students came up to thank her, some in tears. Even the two boys who had hurt her so deeply walked up, eyes low, and mumbled apologies. She didn't need their words, she had already forgiven them in her heart, but hearing them was proof of how far she'd come.